Blog Talk Radio.
2017. Big Truth. The big talk for you. What up? Shout out Ahwar King. Big Boo. Me. Shout out everybody. Check it. Hey yo, debate talk 4. You so you can absorb. Information free of charge so you can afford. Get poppin'. Live off the greatest doctrine. Sip the juice, know the ledge like the great Rakim. On a mission, not a small time thing. Defense biblical, offense got the haters watching. Hands are skill, footwork is ill. Get in the den, see if you can stand for real. If you rep Kim and Cool, yo, I rep Israel. If you Torah based only or new as well, welcome to listen. Style always fair decision. Two sides come together to compare what's written. Seeking the facts, seeking the maps, teaching the acts, leaking the tracks. Call while you eating your snacks. Music in my bones, DNA, C-double-E and K. Little something for the showtime, you can play. One love, one love, one love.
Welcome to the planets of the beats, the Beat Talk Thing Radio.
Hey, what's going on? This is Felix, also known as Enoch, student at Absolute Bible Truth, and I'd like to give a big shout out to Sal Showtime and Debate Talk for You. I'm a frequent listener, been listening since season 1. Keep doing your thing, and for everybody out there who can hear this, send in your donations so Debate Talk for You could go on for a long time. All right, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, Shalom. I want to give a shout out to Sal at Debate Talk for You. What's going on? Hey, Debate Talk for You is where it's at. You know, get your verses straight, put your cell phone record, come on board, present what you got. If anyone try to cut you off, Sal will just mute that guy's mic. You know, he'll let you express what you got, he'll let you present what you studied for. Let the audience decide if what you got, you know, is inside the scriptures. Debate Talk for You, once again, shout out to Sal. Terrific job. Hey, you can press number 1 or find yourself on a lion's den.
Hi, this is Tyrone Thompson, host of the Blog Talk Radio broadcast, Talk Real Solutions. Please tune in and listen to all of our shows 7 nights a week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At Talk Real Solutions, we cover a variety of topics to ensure we speak about what may be needed in our community at any time. Talk Real Solutions is the hottest blog talk radio show going on right now. You can listen to our broadcast at www.blogtalkradio.com/Talk Real Solutions or visit our website at www.talkrealsolutions.com. Also like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Talk Real Solutions. You can call in at any time during the show and add to the conversation and offer your solutions at 1-858-357-8453. That's 1-858-357-8453. Because at Talk Real Solutions, we want to make sure you have a chance to talk real solutions.
Peace and blessings to everyone that's listening. This is Moreh Yakel, the mighty Hebrew, Lion of Judah with Campaign for Biblical Literacy Ministries, walking in the way of my forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, observing the Torah, slaying devils, and manifesting the blessing of the Most High. Come by, pay us a visit by going to my website at www.campaignforbiblicalliteracy.com and by going to my YouTube channel at Campaign for Biblical Literacy Ministries. Shalom.
Blessed be our Father God and His Son Jesus Christ. This is your beloved brother LeVar, co-teacher at Absolute Bible Truth Ministries, and I'm taking this tremendous opportunity that Brother Sal has given me to invite you guys out there listening to the Absolute Bible Truth broadcast on Blog Talk Radio. If you are out there and you have been searching for biblical truth, or you want answers to your questions, you can catch us every Saturday, the weekly Sabbath day our Father has given us. We begin our teaching in between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in by dialing 319-527-6197. Again, call in by dialing 319-527-6197. Our lead teacher, Brother Josh, serves us up a meal, and I promise you, if you have a hunger for understanding the Word, you will get full. Also, like our Facebook page, which is the title of our ministry, Absolute Bible Truth, all one word. In addition to that, check out our website, AbsoluteBibleTruth.com, for other study material and online classes. Absolute Bible Truth is a congregation who focuses on the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth concerning the Word of God, while leaving out all personal opinion, speculation, and belief. Thank you.
Shalom, Israel. This is Brother Robert, a.k.a. Pastor Nobody, from the Fountain of Israel Bible Studies class. You can find us on thefountainofisrael.com or use the search box on YouTube and type in Fountain of Israel. You can also email us at foibiblestudies@inbox.com. Again, that is foibiblestudies@inbox.com. We believe the whole Bible is the truth and relevant to our lives today. Join us weekly as we feed the flock with the uncut word of God. Matthew 4:4 says, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." So until next time, this is Pastor Nobody. Search the Scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.
What's going on, brothers and sisters? This is Brother Stanley Sylvain of Sin No More Ministries. I'm letting you know that every time I'm not putting together some lessons to bless the people out there, I am definitely listening to Sal Showtime and Debate Talk for You. God bless you all. Peace.
All praises, all honor, all glory to the supreme intellect of the universe. This is Nasi Yashuval of Shomrei HaTorah in Atlanta. And if I'm not reading my Torah or suplexing some false deity, I'm listening to my man, Sal Showtime, and Debate Talk for You Radio. Beautiful. Keep doing the good work, brother, bringing forth the information and spreading that love.
That's our popular demand. You're now listening to Debate Talk for You Radio.
This is Renald Francoeur representing from Atlanta, Georgia. And when I'm not busy in the studio, I'm checking out Debate Talk for You Radio. Keep up the great work, Sal Showtime.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing out there? Welcome to another show. You're now listening to Season 7 of Debate Talk for You. I'm your host, Sal, and we are back with another classic show for you guys. This one is actually a promotional show. That's right, it's more of a promotional show, preliminary, so to speak, for tomorrow's dialogue that's going down between Chris Harris and Brother Josh. That's right, it's going to be a dialogue session. Right here on Debate Talk Radio. If you're on the phone lines, I'm going to read to you the topic in a few minutes, but we definitely appreciate the people that's calling in. via phone and via Skype all across the globe, checking out the show. Of course, we have a lot of international listeners overseas that listen to Debate Talk Radio. Some places are actually morning time in some places, so we definitely appreciate you guys for tuning into the show. Like I always say, get your pen and pad ready, take down some notes. And again, it's a promotional show today. It's not going to be not too long. It's going to be more of a promotional show. I want to hear from fans out there. I want to hear from you, the listening audience, in regards to this particular topic. Let's get your opinions. What do you think about this particular topic? Today's topic is, and tomorrow's topic will be, is Psalms 110, referring to King David or future Messiah. Once again, it's Psalms 110, referring to King David or future Messiah. Actually, what I'm going to do, I have Chris Harris on the line. I'm going to bring you in a few minutes. But I actually wanted to see if I could get a little more crowd participation. If someone out there want to read Psalms 10, that would be cool. Just press number 1, and we'll have you read Psalms 10, just to get the audience started on what they hear the chapter of Psalms 10, what that's all about. So we want to get a little crowd participation out there for those who want to read. Anybody can do it. Just press number 1, and we'll add you in. In the meanwhile, let me just bring in the special guest is going to be here tomorrow, and he's here today. This is Chris Harris. Welcome to the show.
Peace, Sal. How's everybody doing? All praises to the Most High, the God of the universe, possessor of everything in it. Happy to be on tonight, Sal. Just got this call from you saying you wanted to do a promotional show, so it's all good. It's all love, so I wasn't doing nothing but watching some basketball anyway, so.
All right, that's what's up, man. So, tomorrow's the big day, as you know. I know you're doing a lot of preparation, stuff like that. Let people know, basically, how do you prepare for such a dialogue? What do you do?
I eat lots of Lucky Charms, drink lots of Juki, and drink lots of Dr. Pepper. No, I'm just joking. Basically, what I do is I study 1 hour a day. I continue to study about the topic, read about the two people that are presented in this topic, which some people call him Jesus, Yeshua, and or Yahushua or Yahushai, whatever they want to call him. I pretty much, take notes on his accomplishments, and I take notes on the Savior and Messiah's accomplishments, David. And, like I said, I study for probably about an hour and a half a day. I call my teacher and ask him, what does he think it is? What does he think of that? And, basically just stay focused. That's it. I mean, nothing big. It's no more than preparing for a test in college. Just staying in tune with your notes, keeping everything in order.
Now, for those who are probably new to the show, Chris Harris made his debut early in the season of Debate Talk for you for this particular season. Just for the listening audience sake, let people know what was your stance then when you first called in to Debate Talk for you Radio and became a special guest debater. Let them know what your original stance was.
When I first called in to Debate Talk for you Radio, I believed in Jesus or this Messiah. But what other people I began to do was really, really study hard. And what I was doing wrong or incorrectly, I was using the Old Testament to supplement the New Testament. I would take the prophecies I would see in the New Testament, things like so it may be fulfilled, or as it is written. And I would take them at face value and just say, okay, well, we're in the New Testament. Nothing in the Old Testament really matters. So I was very, what they might call, I really don't like saying it, but messianic, and I was challenged by somebody one time on a phone call to let's go over these so-called prophecies. And when I went over them, I was like, wow, but the problem, it wasn't so much as him challenging me. It was more so me looking at things that I would read, like the prophecy about Solomon becoming the king and he would become his son, or David would be his son, or Israel is my son. I would see these things. And I was just like, well, wait a minute. What does that mean? And I would just ignore it. And I would just say, oh, well, oh, well. I would always ignore it. But something always told me something's not right there. Either you're being taught wrong or you're not receiving the information correctly. So when I saw it and he lined up what I saw and what I read, it was not that hard of a transition for me. Everybody knows I always had questions about that. And what I continued to do is I just continued to study. I didn't take anybody's word on it, but I just continued to line up the prophets, line up the law. In many places where people go, I'm all like, that's not talking about him. That's not speaking about him. I always say you have to read from verse 1 all the way, like say for instance, Isaiah chapter 7. You have to read Isaiah chapter 7, verse 1 all the way on through. And remember, there are no chapter breaks. It was a scroll. So it was a one complete thought. And I want to give an example. Say, for instance, if I'm talking to you, Sal, and I tell you, this is how I believe some people see things because they're taught to see it this way. Oh, yeah, hey, Sal, how you doing, man? I was outside hooping the other day, and my game wasn't really that strong. I wasn't really making a lot of jump shots. Next week is going to be World War III. 3,000 soldiers are going to die, and then I grabbed 5 rebounds, and like I said, I wasn't really having a good game. That's how they make the prophet sound sometimes. They make him shoot out a prophecy mid-sentence, mid-thought, and then return to the original thought. And I'm all like, that's not fair to do. And it's actually very deceiving. And once I begin to learn the truth and begin to see, well, it is lining up, and I begin to do my study on the New Testament itself, I begin to see and hear things that weren't quite kosher. And I was actually embarrassed that I was actually teaching some of the things that I did. Because this whole book, Israel, is about you. And God's promises, the Most High's promises to you. Yah's promise to his people, how he will redeem his people. We were told what to do by the prophets, by Solomon, and in the law in the land of our captivity, in order to be redeemed. And I'm going to stand by that. And maybe I can bring that out tonight in this show.
All right, family, you can call in, people. You know that number, 319-527-6239. You can call in via phone or via Skype. We have Chris Harris right here on Debate Talk Radio. He's going to be one of the special guests that's going to be have a dialogue tomorrow. Same topic as Psalms 110, referring to King David or future Messiah. It's just more of a promotional show for tomorrow. It's not going to be, a long show. We just want to promote it, for those who probably are just on YouTube. And we check out the Facebook page. We're just promoting the show so we can get, of course, more people tuning in, locked in tomorrow, asking their questions, of course. But again, if you're listening right now, I see a lot of people want to switchboard. If you have a question, or you just want to speak to Chris Harris, or you want to share your opinion on a topic, what do you think about it? Is Psalms 10 referring to King David or future Messiah? We want to hear from the fans out there. Again, the number is 319-527-6239. Once you call in, so we press number 1, and then we want to hear from you. The only rule that I have is there's no foul language, of course. You got to keep it clean. You got to keep it professional when you call into Debate Talk Radio. But this is your time, family. We're doing this for the people out there. And shout out to the UK listeners. We got a lot of UK people out there checking out the show. I got a lot of emails from the UK. We appreciate y'all in the UK. And the people Australia. We got people out there in Germany, Africa, checking out the show. We appreciate the emails that we get from you guys all across the globe. And if you're listening overseas, of course, you already know you got to call in via Skype to call in, and just press number 1, and we'll add you in the conversation. But Chris, as far as by the way, I said I'm looking for somebody to want to read Psalms 110. If they want to read the entire chapter, that'd be cool. We're just waiting for somebody to press number 1. If not, then we'll just move on, and hopefully we get a lot of things out for tomorrow with that. But again, we'll hear from y'all as well. But Chris, in regards to this particular topic, well, let's talk about Josh. What's your perspective? Let the people know. What do you feel about the brother Josh? A lot of things have been going on behind the scenes, but a lot of powerful conversations behind the scenes, of course, chopping it up, things of that nature. Give people, for those who don't know, let people know your perspective when it comes to Brother Josh from Absolute Bible Truth. Okay.
He's an okay dude. I mean, we spoke. Me and him been chopping it up a bit. I really don't have no problem with it. I know I've received a couple of phone calls from people that necessarily don't like the gentleman, saying, go ahead and smash this dude. I can't stand him. He ain't what everybody think he is. And, just things of that nature. And these were phone calls from people, not anybody I necessarily reached out to. But, I got a lot of text messages through social media, kind of like bad-mouthing the dude, the stalker. Me and Josh spoke about that Sunday, the stalker he had. And I kind of understand from the competitive side, but, from the competitive side and from, the doctrinal side, I can understand that because everybody's going to always have their opinion. But personal attacks, the gentleman that was calling saying he's of the devil and all that other stuff, I kind of like left that alone. And, I was just all like, I really don't, I really didn't get that from him. You know what I'm saying? When we was kicking it on Sunday. He's intense. Yeah, he's intense. I will give him that. He knows his scripture, but like I said, he's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if somebody believes in Jesus or Yehoshua or, whatever they want to call him. I don't care about that. He's still my brother. You know what I'm saying? Really, it just seems like I became the enemy of the state in the same retrospect because I didn't change my stance. I just saw the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like I became the enemy of the state, and people were saying, oh, we ain't cool no more. You an enemy of the Messiah. Your salvation is on the line, and here, read these books. And, Josh he's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I think his heart, I don't want to say I think. I know he means well. You understand what I'm saying? This is what he believes. He's putting it on the line for what he believes. And I feel like any man that puts his ideas out there on what he believes, and he's putting himself on the line, his integrity on the line, I think, to me, you're a stand-up guy when you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as his dialogue goes, he going to get that work tomorrow. Bottom line.
All right, family. Once again, you know that number, people, 319-527-6239. Put it on speed dial. Again, it's more of a promotional show. It's a promotional show for tomorrow. But also don't know, the show tomorrow's entitled is Psalms 110, referring to King David or future Messiah. It's going to go down on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And the number to call in, of course, 319-527-6239. Feel free to call in. What we're going to do is we're going to have a dialogue format. What we're going to do is we're going to have them Josh and Chris Harris speak for like 25 minutes, and then we're going to take 20 minutes for the audience to ask their questions. And we're going to do this in rounds. So 25, 20, 25, 20, 25, 20, like that. So we can get more of, the audience participation and more the audience, because that's my favorite part of the show, the audience interacting, things of that nature. So we're going to get the audience more involved tomorrow and today, of course. Guys, you want to chime in, just press number 1. We'll add a conversation. I see if 1 or 2 people press number 1 already. We're going to get to y'all most definitely. Again, it's a promotional show for tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you spread the word. Share it on social media. Let people know that the show is going to be on the air live tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss the powerful dialogue. Chris, as far as the dialogue, like I said, we had a lot of, conversations, well, not me, but you and Josh, behind the scenes. Without giving away too much, what did you think about those dialogues? Was it good? Was it bad? How did you feel about those behind-the-scenes dialogues?
Well, the one thing about it, it's almost like I grew up boxing. Anybody that knows me know I had like over 300 amateur fights. And in the amateurs or in the pros, there's always a promotion before the fight, especially when you're at the top level. So you get to know the person. And the more and more I got to know him, you don't really hear a certain side of him that I got a chance to meet. You see what I'm saying? I actually kind of found out he was a funny dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's not this intense dude that, you know, he comes across, or this insensitive dude that he comes across on the show sometimes. He's actually a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? That ain't going to stop me from giving him this work tomorrow, but he's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I met Antoine. I hadn't had a chance to talk to LeVar yet, meet LeVar. But like I said, man, he's putting it out there that what he believes is the truth, and I'm gonna bring forth to what I know is the truth, you know. And that's not a way to belittle him, but he has a stance on what he thinks is true, and I have a stance on what I believe is true. He's very knowledgeable, you know what I'm saying, and you know, he's actually a respectful dude. He respects his opponent, and you know, that's one thing I'm not gonna lie I did like about him. You know what I'm saying? We said we're not gonna get into no yelling matches over this during this dialogue or this dialogue debate, however it turns out. But we said we're gonna stay respectable of each other. We're gonna bring out our scholarship, you know. But he's a cool dude. I ain't got no problem with him.
Obviously, so we're about to go to the phone lines in about a minute. You know, again, you know, it's a promotional show for tomorrow. Chris, is there anything that you want to put out there at this time before we go to the callers? You can do so now.
Like I said, man, I just want to give all praise to the Creator. I want to tell everybody, man, who allowed me to come on this format, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try and continue to grow, continue to study. I'll never deliberately give you an incorrect answer based on a doctrine. I'm going to always give you the correct answer. I always give my answers straight out of the Torah. You know, the one thing I always ask people is, you know, remain patient with me as I remain patient with the audience. And, you know, it's not about being messianic or non-messianic. That should not separate us as a people, okay? We're a nation of people. And I think that's what separates us sometimes. Our faith should not separate us. We one people, okay? We all came over here off them boats. We one people. And we got to understand that. This is a stumbling block for a nation of people who got to come together. And that's what I want to say. Unity, not hate.
All right, family. Just for the record, I just wanted the audience to know that I actually just put this show together within a few hours. So I reached out to Josh, and you know, I guess he's unable to call in at this particular time. Again, I put this together under short notice. So we definitely appreciate Chris Harris for being here. And we're going to go to the phone lines. Like I said, we want to hear from the fans. We want to hear from the listeners out there. What do you think about this topic? What side are you on? Is Psalms 110 referring to King David or future Messiah? And again, if you want to address, ask Chris any questions, you can do so at this particular time. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to 305-707. You're live in there. .305. Can you hear me? 305-707. Are you there?
Oh, yep, that's me. Hello?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Shalom. Shalom, this is D. I actually came into the call like at 8:20, so I kind of came in a little late. Didn't get to hear a lot of the conversation. My name's Darian L., Brother D, a.k.a. Devoted to Yah. But yeah, I do see the topic here. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? Brother D? What's going on, man? I know I text you, man. You got my text? Did you get it?
Yeah, I just saw the text now. I left my phone. Yeah. I left my phone at home today. So when I got out of work,
I thought there's yeah, you know, it was short notice, man. You know, so that's my fault right there. But I appreciate you calling in now, man. Can you do me a favor, man? Do you have your sword with you?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, could you do me a favor and just read Psalms 10, just for 110, Psalms 110 for the audience out there, you know, so they can be, you know, for those who are not aware of what it says, you know, they can hear what it says right now, and then of course I'm gonna ask you some questions. Okay.
All right. Let's see here. says, Yahuwah says to my master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool for your feet. Yahuwah will send out the rod of your strength out of Zion. Rule among your enemies. Your people offer themselves willingly in the day of your power. In holy array, out of the womb of the morning, you have the dew of your youth. Yahuwah has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. The master is at your right hand. He will crush kings in the day of his wrath. He will judge among the nations. He will heap up dead bodies. He will crush the ruler of the whole earth. He will drink of the brook on the way. Therefore, he will lift up his head. My belief in this scripture is that this obviously has not, this is very prophetic. Definitely the ending part there is very chilling and very easily to identify that this has not happened yet. And I do believe in the New Testament 100%, going in line with the Old Testament. I don't believe they're inseparable. I believe that the Messiah came as a suffering servant. He humbled himself for the forgiveness of sins. However, I do believe in his second return to fulfill this prophecy here in its fullness on the earth as he rules and reigns on the earth for 1,000 years. I do believe in the millennial kingdom. I do know there's scriptures that seem a little contradicting with this subject, with the Messiah being at the right hand of the Father, like when Stephen was being martyred, he says, I see the Son of Man standing at the right hand of the Father right before he died. So he is at the right hand of the Father right now, and that's because I believe in the omnipresence of the oneness of the Almighty Father. I believe Yahuwah is one person, and I believe Yahuwah manifested himself in many different ways, but one of the main ways that he has manifested himself is as the commander or the chief of his own military, his heavenly military. And that heavenly commander became a human being about 2,000 years ago, and humbled himself, came down to this earth, and died for the sins of Yisrael and for all that want to be grafted into Israel. But anyway, I do believe that this prophetic passage is talking about the Davidic kingship role of the Messiah in the future.
All right, that's Brother D right there. We appreciate you. You can stand by for, if you got time, stand by. Chris, you want to ask any questions or dialogue with the brother? You can for, you can dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, sure. I know D. I know D. All right, hey D, check it out. I noticed that you said that he is the suffering servant. Can you I'm assuming that you pulled that from Isaiah 53 verse 10. Am I correct?
Yes.
Oh man, that was loud. All right, so you wanna go there?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm there.
All right, can you read that for me, please?
You want me to go from verse 1?
I want to start at verse 10 because many people, they only, I can precept 1 through 10, but I just want to focus on 10 because this mainly goes into where everybody said he died for our sins at, right here. And I was going to ask you, can you show me where it say a man will die for your sins in this passage?
Well, I think I don't think you're going to get that out of this passage here. That would include needing to go into a little bit more. But if there's some suffering, I mean, my question is, what would the suffering be for? Is it suffering just to suffer? There's got to be some kind of a payment here. But I can read this I'll read verse 10, but I would like to read the whole chapter. Verse 10
Sure.
says,
Go ahead. You can read the whole chapter.
Yep. Verse 10 says,
Okay.
Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. He has caused him to suffer. When you make his soul an offering, and let me just zoom in on this real quick. The Hebrew word for offering here is H817, which is asham.
Correct.
And it is the definition for guilt, offense, guiltiness, offense, trespass, fault, compensation, trespass, offering, guilt, offering. If you look at this word and the different ways that it's used in the Tanakh, you'll see that it's actually used for sin offerings. So that's one example there. But that's verse 10. So it
can I answer that?
Sure.
Okay. Generally, when I pay attention to the text in Isaiah 53, the one thing when I pay attention to the text, I see the tenses that are used. And when I read the text and the tenses that are contained within the text, it said, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. These are all past tense words. He has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering, these are all past tense. In other words, this is what happened. See, first of all, I'm speaking from the point this was written to the scribes that read this. There was no New Testament. When you read Isaiah 53 with understanding, this is a recap of the grief that Israel went through during their captivity. That's all this is. When I read Isaiah 53 verse 10, can you turn to Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 63? Because nowhere in the New Testament do you see the Most High saying, it pleased the Lord to kill his son. You don't find that anywhere. But you do find the same context within the tense in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Verse 63. You want to read that, or you want me to read it?
No, I'd just like to respond real quick to your point.
Sure.
So in order for you to have a good case for that, you would have to show that everywhere that there was a prophecy that was used had past tense language. You would have to prove that all of those prophecies had already taken place and aren't speaking of something taking place in the future. Likewise, I myself would have to bring forth that information if I was having this discussion with you, this debate with you, if I was prepped, because I'm not prepped right now. But this is something that I would like to, make like a T-chart, and see all the scriptures that have prophecies, which ones took place in the midst of there being a language that is past tense, because that's part of being prophetic. That's part of being a prophet. Sometimes you speak as if something's already taken place, but it's actually speaking of the future. So.
Okay. That's why I wanted you to turn to Deuteronomy chapter 28, the 63rd verse, so you can see the tenses that are used in the same context within the text. It's the same context within the texts in Isaiah, the 53rd chapter. That's why I want you to read that.
Deuteronomy 28, verse, which verse?
63.
It says, it will happen that as Yahuwah rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahuwah will rejoice over you to cause you to perish and to destroy you. You will be plucked from the land that you are going in to possess. That's actually future.
Correct. Now, we know that this happened, and the curses are what? They're continual. Am I correct?
Curses are continual, but there's always a a limit. There's always an end to that.
Okay. So, as I'm reading this here, it says, and it shall be just as the Lord rejoices. Excuse me, I'm reading from a New King James Version for the respect of the audience. This is, and it shall be that just as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and bring you to nothing. And you shall be plucked off the land which you go to possess. Now, we see that the Father is saying he's rejoicing over destroying his people, right? It clearly says that. But when we go to Isaiah 53, it says, verse 10, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. Now, let's find out who was bruised. Let's turn to Isaiah chapter 5, verse 7. Okay. Excuse me. No, I don't want to turn there. Let's turn to Isaiah chapter 3. Well, as we can sit up there and see, I'm sorry. This is my wrong sword. As you can see, it clearly talks about him destroying Israel and him rejoicing over it. And it's the same text that he's using. I'm still trying to find that here. The same text that he's using in the context that he's using within 53 is the same context is being used in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 63.
I got a little lost with how you're making your point about how it's continual to where you're at now. I'm a little confused.
Israel went into slavery after slavery after slavery after slavery. When you see that in Isaiah 53, chapter 10, verse 10, it says that he would rejoice over destroying Israel. When you see in in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, verse 63, is that he would rejoice in destroying you. When you read Isaiah 53, verse 10, it tells you the same thing. It's the same two contexts.
Okay, let's talk about. All right, here's the point I wanted to make. Things are continual until an ending point. It's not eternal, because if it was forever, that means Israel would never be able to be regathered again and restored. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. I didn't know where you were going with the continual part. So there is always an end to the curses, depending on what side of Yahuwah's wrath or mercy you're on. Number two, Isaiah 53 stands out completely different from all those passages that you're trying to equate it with, because Isaiah 53 verse 10 says, when you make his soul an offering for sin. And again, right. I emphasize offering. That Hebrew word for offering is for an atonement for sin, and nowhere do I see that Israel, who is wicked and rebellious and stubborn and stiff-necked, is going to be an offering for sin. That doesn't even make any sense to me. So I need
but
you to.
But also within the same context, it doesn't make any sense, because an Asham offering is a guilt offering, and it's not a sin sacrifice or for a man to come and die for your sins, is it? Because it doesn't say that anywhere. None of the prophets. Excuse me. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Let me finish.
Yep. Go ahead.
When he says, first of all, we have to understand how Isaiah is, how he writes. And his is referring to Israel. It's not referring to one man. Isaiah referred to, whenever he uses a possessive noun pertaining to Israel or an action noun, he'll say his grief, his illness. His is referring to Israel, not Jesus or Yahweh Shai or anybody else. This entire passage is about Israel. We read in verse 44, we read in chapter 44, chapter 41, chapter 40, that Israel is the servant of the Most High. Then we get to 53, and we choose one little verse and say that's Jesus. You can continue.
I mean, there's not much more to say. Israel is, Yahuwah has many servants, but not all his servants are going to be able to die for the guilt of Yisrael. You know, my question to you would be, what's the point of a trespass guilt offering?
To be forgiven for your sin.
Okay, and that's exactly what the Messiah came for. That's exactly what was provided. That's actually also part of the new covenant. Jeremiah chapter 31 is to be forgiven from sin. There's a lot of other parts of that new covenant prophecy that has not been fulfilled, I believe. Obviously.
Now I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Within what you just said, the covenant in Jeremiah 31, have we been brought into the wilderness yet?
No.
Okay, so
like I said, I know that there's parts that have not been fulfilled yet for that. So I know that's a lot of what causes contention and confusion and causes people to start doubting the New Testament. But
okay.
Yeah, Chris, stand by. Let me just let Brother D get some last comments, because we have some more callers standing by, and of course we got the whole show pretty much. So, Brother D, any last words you want to say before we move on? And I appreciate you, man, for calling on such short notice. I appreciate you. Any last words you want to say?
Yeah, no worries, man. Forgiveness of sins is essential. Yeah, you're welcome, Chris.
No doubt.
Forgiveness is... Hello?
We're still here.
Okay, forgiveness of sins is, I just want to say, my last statement is just forgiveness of sins is 100% essential. There's no point of being brought into any land. There's no point of being regathered or restored if there's no forgiveness of sin. There was a divorce that took place in Jeremiah chapter 3 with Yisrael, and specifically the house of Israel, the northern tribe, going into Assyrian captivity. And also, Judah went into Babylonian captivity. These were all signs of a breaking of the covenant. So there's no point of being Judaized and coming into Judaism or anything when there's a broken covenant. It's like trying to be married to a divorced. It's like a husband trying to be in covenant with a wife that he divorced. It doesn't make any sense. So forgiveness of sins needs to happen first. And then there needs to be a time set aside so that other people can come in and join into that covenant. If Yahusha would have came and did everything all at one shot, that only leaves just a few people to get into the kingdom. It's his mercy and his grace that he has extended his delay to come back and fulfill the other parts of his covenant. So praise Yahuwah. That he's delaying because he's allowing more Gentiles to come in, and he's allowing more Israelites to come back into their original heritage. So that's just my last statement.
Yeah, man, that was Brother D right there. You can catch him on YouTube. Just type in Devoted to Yah on YouTube. Check him out. Matter of fact, what I'll probably do, I'm going to leave a link in the description box for y'all to check out the brother's channel. If you like what he put out there, then subscribe and show your support. But we got to get some more of these callers. Like I said, this is a promotional show. We're just promoting the show for tomorrow. It's going to go down officially tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Topic of the dialogue will be is Psalms 110, referring to King David or future Messiah. We want to hear from the fans out there. We want to hear from the people out there, that want to give their perspective on this particular topic. Again, the number is 319-527-6239. Want to hear from the people. Let's go to the next caller. You ask my caller Skype caller. You're live in there.
Yeah. Hold on for a second. My bad. Shalom, Sal. Shalom, Brother Chris.
Shalom, brother.
I guess right now, I'm going as the anonymous Hebrew. So it's funny.
All right, anonymous Hebrew was good, man. Anonymous Hebrew was
good. People laugh, but for right now, I'm not in a position to really put out ministries and everything. And when I get there, then I'll deal with brothers face to face. But for right now, it's safer and better for my family. because I do believe there's a time when all of us, messianic, and I don't even like the term messianic versus non-messianic. I guess I would say Brit Hadajah versus Tanakh only, because we all believe a Messiah is coming. We just, we differ on who the Messiah is. I think we can agree on that. Right. So first off, I want to let you know, like, I am happy for you and Brother Josh to actually have this dialogue. This is something that I've been praying for, believe it or not, because I believe, even though some people may not like what happened with you and was it Black Jesus Minister? Don't get me started on that guy, but I do believe as a Tanakh only brother, you can actually keep your composure and have a good dialogue with Brother Josh. So I'm happy that this is happening. Believe it or not, since Monday, this is something that I've been waiting on. So I'm happy that this is happening tomorrow, and I applaud you for stepping into the lion's den and handling that. Real quick, because I know we're talking about Psalms 110, I guess I wanted to, and I don't want you to give too much away what you're dealing with or whatever.
No doubt.
But I do want to understand, how is there this, if this is a Psalm of David, how can this not be talking about a distinction between Yahweh or Yahuwah, between what we would call Adonai? Is that making sense?
I know your question that you're going to give me. Here, 813, write this down, and I can give you an answer. You can just give me a call, and I'll give you the answer. And it's so simple.
Appreciate you. All right.
No doubt.
I'm writing it.
813 240 5650. You can give me a call, and we can kick it. We can kick it about that. And it's so simple, man. It's just so simple.
You.
Yeah,
right,
we gonna stay in the Torah too, and I'll show it to you right there.
Bet. So that's what I try to do too. Obviously in my household, I'll be honest with you. I do still believe in Jesus. I believe in Yeshua. Well, some people call him Yahweh, whatever. I just feel like that's a difference in vocalization systems or whatever you want to call it. But I do want to kind of understand the Tanakh only perspective as opposed to the Brit Hadajah perspective, because I believe that there is a misinterpretation of what Paul was writing and what everybody else is teaching from the New Testament, especially when we're dealing with Sunday Christians. And so I know you went over it briefly, but my other question is there a possibility that maybe you are so upset by what has been done to us by the oppressor that you are failing to see what the scriptures are saying? Well, I shouldn't call them scriptures, but what the epistles are saying, what the letters are saying, as it comes to us, Sunday Christians saying we're to do away with the law, and because when I read the New Testament, I don't see that that's what the New Testament is saying. So my first question is there a possibility that you are misinterpreting that, and if so, how would we go about showing that to you to show that we believe everything that's in the Torah as well as everything that's in the Brit Hadajah, or in the Tanakh, as well as everything that's in the Brit Hadajah? Is there a possibility that you're misinterpreting that, or are we just completely wrong from your perspective?
Okay, here's my answer for that. Me and Josh had a discussion on that. Was it Sunday, Sal? We was discussing that, and he showed me some things on where they were Yeah, it was this Sunday. Last Sunday we were discussing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I understand the New Testament very well. You should look at that word Britain too, by the way, in Hebrew.
Right.
If you get some
if
you get some time. Okay. But we were discussing that. No. When it comes to the oppressor and all of that, no, I'm not. I never let my rage or my anger blind me, because you'll lose a battle when you do that. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Did you want to say something?
I wanted to let you finish. I didn't want to cut you off.
Okay, cool. What I try to do is I try to analyze it from the perspective of thus saith Yah, or not the Lord, but I, as you sometimes hear with Paul. And sometimes when reading, what people have to understand is Paul's letters are just that. They are letters. Okay? Nothing else. They're letters. All right? That's all they are. The Father told me in the book of Deuteronomy to cleave on to Him, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. You have my number, so you can give me a call like the minute the show air, when it ends, you can give me a call and I can break it down for you. I know Ahwar wants me to come on his show tonight too, so you can give me a call, man. Like I said, this is what I do.
Bet. All right, so then my final perspective is, and I'll just tell you where I'm coming up from with Paul and with anybody else, and not to cause controversy or anything, but I do believe, one, that Paul had a real experience with the Most High, or at least with what we call Jesus, right? And we can get into Jesus and all. Like I'm I've done the studies on that. I'm not trying to argue that, but I do believe he had a real encounter. And there are times when he even says in Acts and stuff like that, like he's not teaching against the law, right? So. I guess once again back to the point of, from your perspective, is there any way to harmonize these two books? Because I don't even believe Yeshua, Hawashai, Jesus was teaching against the Torah, right? I don't see where he's actually teaching against the Torah. And we can go back and forth in Scripture and all of that, and I'm prepared to if we need to, but I don't see where he was teaching against the Torah. He told us to pray to the Father, right? He said him and his Father are one. And if we deal with one, we're talking about the difference of Echad between Yahid, right? We agree with that, correct? The difference between, like when a man and woman become one flesh, that's Echad. And then Yahid is like unity, as living and as one, right? So once again, I didn't hear you explain what made you go from being, a New Testament believer, and I hate that, renewed covenant believer, as opposed to a old covenant believer. Because when I read them, and like I said, it took me a while. Like I've been mad at my oppressor for a while, and I had to bring myself out of that. And when I read that from a clear perspective, I don't see Jesus teaching us, and I know how you feel about Jesus, so I'm just using that for the general audience. But I don't see.
Well, here, let me interject real fast.
Go ahead.
To cover you a little bit. Now, when it comes to Jesus, or this character by the name, Jesus, Yahushua, Yeshua, Yehoshua, or anything like that, the one thing that I'm going to back off on is slamming him. That's not a good idea to do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much.
But the thing about it, when I read the prophecies contained within the Tanakh, he does not fit the prophecies contained within the Tanakh. Many places where we have been taught to go and say this is the Messiah, I got two things I want to emphasize. One, they're not prophecies like Psalm 22, Isaiah 53. Psalms 110, Isaiah chapter 7, Isaiah chapter 9. These are very easily debunkable if you just read your Torah and study it. Okay? As it is written, he does not fit the prophecies contained within the Tanakh. The only problem one of the main problems, that I have with messianic believers is when we go somewhere like in Ezekiel 37 or in Isaiah chapter 11 or Jeremiah 30, Jeremiah 31, Jeremiah 33. Oh, y'all always run there. Well, why not? Those too are messianic prophecies. Doesn't the law say to operate within equal weights and scales, weights and measures? Of course it does.
Man, can I interrupt you? Just to interrupt you real quick. That's an excellent point. And so that's the other issue I had. And I'm not so much with you because, believe it or not, like I'm retired from the military, right? So I got nothing but time to study this.
Same here.
I'm actually going to school.
40 Bravo.
I'm a 93 Romeo. That's military intelligence. Like airborne. I was in the 80 Deuce, the whole nine, right?
1st Ranger Battalion, military police. Go ahead with it. Come on.
All right. So, been studying Hebrew, and we can go back and forth. And I'm going to call you because I really want to chop it up with you. But the point that I'm seeing, just dealing with, let's say, equal weights and measures, I feel sometimes that Jesus is held to a higher standard than others want to hold the Tanakh only belief. Like, so if we're dealing with Isaiah 53, right? Let's just remove whether or not it's Jesus, right?
Right.
There is an agreement that somebody has to suffer there, correct?
No, incorrect.
Oh, okay. So from your perspective, is Israel suffering for the nations? Like, what is happening in Isaiah 53?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying. Excuse me. I thought you said somebody has to suffer there.
Okay.
Right.
No. So you mean as a group?
Right. I believe Israel is paying. We are paying for our own sins and the iniquities that we did. And I believe,
Israel
and I haven't.
Is suffering for Israel.
Israel is suffering for their own sins. Messianics try to make it look like this. He's going to come and die for your sin. And I hope somebody can call up here and clear this up, because every time I read this, I can go right into the book of Deuteronomy and precept the last 4 verses in Deuteronomy alone. Because when you read the tenses in this is something that's already happened. Because when you read earlier in Isaiah, he said, I've redeemed you. Rejoice. So now when we get to 53, we're talking about Isaiah during the first temple period? That doesn't make any sense. This is the first temple period. During the first temple.
Yeah, pardon the interruption, man. I got to interject real quick. Again, you know that number, people, 319-527-6239. Anonymous Hebrew. You got the brother number. You know what I mean? Chop it up. Make sure you call. Matter of fact, let the people know how, since you put your number out there, man, let the people know how much activity you get on your phone, man. Put your number out there on Debate Talk Radio. Go ahead, bro.
You know what? Honestly, when I first did it, it wasn't as overwhelming, but it was during the Black Jesus Minister. After that ended, it just blew up. But lately, it's been a lot more positivity. People saying they respect my decision. Oh, man, we like that somebody finally is coming forth and they're bringing forth the truth. Like, that brother actually touched me when he said he prayed that Chris Harris, somebody like me, can get on there and debate or dialogue with a Josh and keep his composure. You see what I'm saying? Because, many people go after Josh and they be trying to come after the throne. Man, I'm not here for all of that. I'm here to let the words of the Most High speak, and that's it. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to do. So my phone was blowing up off the chain after that, and, you get your straddler every now and then sending text messages talking about you going to hell, and I'm just like, whatever, man. But, I hope I didn't disrespect the audience. Excuse me. But mainly, it's been real positive, man. I've been meeting a lot of guys, a lot of dudes, brothers online, offering up help, helping me with certain scriptures that I might get stuck at. So it's been more like 70-30.
That's what's up right there. And once again, we opening up the phone lines for the people. And I didn't know you were going to, you got a war show going on. What time is the war show tonight?
His show going on, but him and Davon going at it right now. There's probably a lot of fruit and bread being thrown across the phone right now. So I'm just all like, you know what I'm saying? I'm fine right here. You know what I'm saying? How the war get down. You know what I'm saying? And Robert Reed wanted me to come on the show tonight, so I'm gonna stop by there tonight talking about feminism. So,
Okay, that's cool. All right, well, make sure people, for those who don't know, go check out Ahwar the Swordsman show. It's called Bible Fire Radio. It's called Bible Fire Radio. All you got to do is go to Blog Talk Radio and type in the search box Bible Fire Radio, and it just take you directly to his Blog Talk Radio show. As a matter of fact, what I'll do probably later on, I'm going to add that to the description box for those who want to check out Ahwar the Swordsman show. We don't hate. We promote all shows out here at Debate Talk Radio.
Hey, man, get your build on, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No, we promote other brands, man. That's how we do. But let's go to the next person. Let's go to 832-274. You're live in the air.
Hey, what's good? How y'all doing, man? Hey Chris, man, I want to ask you a quick question. And look forward to the debate. By the way, can y'all hear me all right? I'm clear.
I can hear you just clear. Yeah, I can hear you clear.
All right. Yeah, man. Looking forward to the debate. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to ask you a question because I think you the one, man. I heard you a while ago, man, and you was actually debating on the other side as far as making a case for Yeshua, and it was a real strong case. So I was real surprised. I think that was you. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm mistaken. But man, you made a real good case for Christ, and you was teamed up with another dude. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was debating two other dudes on the other side. But anyway, so what I wanted.
No, I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I want to ask you, man, is so you made a point about how when one of the reasons why you made this decision is because when you looked at some of the prophecies that were supposed to be messianic or supposed to be about Christ, that you read them and they're like, you made an example of like, you're reading this about one topic,
right?
And then, you read the next line that's supposed to be about Christ, and you're trying to say it's like you have to flip the whole context for it to mean Christ when really it's all harmonizing, when you look at the context and it means the same thing. You made an example of I can't remember the exact example, but I definitely get what you're saying. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to ask you about it. Yeah, no problem, man. So are you familiar with Ezekiel 28 by any chance? It's about the king of Tyre.
The king of Tyre? Yeah, let's go. You want to go there?
Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 28, and if you start with verse 11.
No, you read verse 11. No, I'm just playing. I got you, man. Let me see. Lamentation for the king of Tyre. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, take up the lamentation for the king of Tyre, and say to him, Thus saith the Lord God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and hey, if you can keep reading, man, through verse 15, if you don't mind.
All right, it said, You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. I know this one pretty well. Every precious stone was at your covering, the sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. You were the anointed cherub who covers. I establish you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked back and forth in the midst of fiery stones. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created till iniquity was found in you. All right.
So do you think this is still talking about the king of Tyre?
There's many, excuse me, bro. I had some nasty pizza stuff. Never mind. Excuse me, but when we have to understand when we read the context of anything, the first thing you want to do is read chapter 28 from verse 1 all the way on through. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to start. We don't just want to start in the middle, and just start saying, okay, let's read from verse 11, because you'll miss the context if you don't read the beginning of chapter 28. You understand what I'm saying? And that's very important that we, as a people, I'm not calling you this, come out of Christianity and learn how to read everything the prophet has to say about this particular passage here. Is that fair?
Yep, no, I definitely understand. And I want to, because I know my time is limited, man, so I just wanted, that wasn't even, my primary question is, now, and let me know if you disagree, but the general consensus across the board that I've heard from Torah only and also Messianic is that this chapter is at first talking about referencing the king of Tyre, and then it transitions and actually talking about who you would call Lucifer or Satan, because they start talking about the cherub and you were in the Garden of Eden. It's actually talking, so it's a transition from the king of Tyre, and then they're talking about Satan. So my question is, I just want to know. I'm really curious, man. Of Is that the only? Is that one of the? Was there a got you moment? Was there a what was the thing that really made you like, man, you know what, this New Testament, is just not right? Because the first thing what you said earlier about how sometimes some of the messianic prophecies in the Old Testament, they change context, and you say, oh, you try to stick Jesus in there, and that's kind of what threw you off. And there's other examples that especially when it comes to prophecy, like Ezekiel 28, where sometimes the context changes, and it's first referring to one thing, and then it's referring to something else. And that's just the kind of the style sometimes that you see when reading prophecy in the Old Testament. Is there any other reason other than that? I guess is my question. Was there a got you moment? Was there something that really stuck out that made you like, man, look here, man. Let me, it's Torah only moving forward. I was just curious, but that's my question.
That's a fair question. I respect that because I've been getting that question 24/7. Like I said, Isaiah chapter 7, Isaiah chapter 9, Hebrews chapter 10, and Hebrews chapter 8. When I started reading these things, and especially the book of Hebrews, my opinion, okay, this is my opinion, it's the worst book in the Bible. By far. It's wicked. It's trying to fulfill things that aren't there. And one of the things, we don't even know who wrote it, first of all, okay? Now, first of all, if you go to Hebrews chapter 10, verse 6, can you go there for me real fast? Sal, give him a little bit more time, please. Go there and read chapter 10, verse 6 for me.
All right, it says, in burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, you had no pleasure. Keep going. Yeah. Then I said, behold, I have come. In the volume of the book, it is written of me to do your will, O God. Previously saying, sacrifice and offerings, burnt offerings and offerings for sin, you did not desire, nor have pleasure in them, which are offered according to the law. Then he said, behold, I come to do your will, O God. He takes away the first that he may establish the second. By that will we have been sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. Okay.
Now, in my book it says, behold, a body you have prepared for me, right? Mm-hmm. That's what my book say, right? Like the sacrifice is a body, right? That's just what I read. That's what my book says, right? Okay. Does yours say that?
Yeah, that's what mine says in verse 5.
Okay, in verse 5, right? Now, right, it says sacrifice and therefore when he came into the world, he said, sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. So we got to figure out where they ripped this from. Let's go to Psalms chapter 40, verse 6. Now, they ripped this from the Septuagint. This came out of the Septuagint, right? This came out of the Septuagint version of the Bible, right? Me and Josh spoke about this, and he showed me that, right? But let's go to Psalms chapter 40, verse 6, okay? And we know what it says. Thou shalt not take or add to the word, right? It say that. Now, in this book over here in Psalms chapter 40, verse 6, you want to read that? Matter of fact, I'll read it for you. It says, sacrifice and offering you did not desire. My ears you have opened. Burnt offering and sin offering you do not require. Then I said, behold, a scroll of the book is written of me. I delight to do your will, and your law is within my heart. David praising the Father's law. He praising the Father's law. Where's the body at? That's what made me go, what's going on here? Now, Paul, if I have time, and if maybe Sal will let me do a show, if Paul is quoting from, I'm not saying he wrote Hebrews, but I'm saying if Paul is quoting from the Septuagint, but he already has written that he a Hebrew of Hebrews and Gamaliel is his teacher, why he not quoting from the Hebrew? Because it's a bunch of Roman and Greek sickology. That's why. They deliberately put that there. And you saw it with your own eyes. But because we still have a veil of Christianity pulled over us, we don't see these things.
Yeah, that's real
Is that
talk,
all, my
man.
brother?
Appreciate it. Yep.
All right, man. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate your call, man. Like I said, this is a promotional show, y'all. We're promoting the show for tomorrow. So, again, this is for the people out there. If y'all want to call in, feel free to call in. Yeah, it's for the people. Debate Talk for You. You know that number, 319-527-6239. I see we have a lot more callers on the phone lines, and, I definitely appreciate the people out there. Well, let me read this question, though. I see my brother Dre from Australia. What's going on? He sent me
That's my boy. What up, Dre?
He sent me a message, a question for you. It says, get your sword ready. It says, according to Isaiah 53, verse 7, can Chris provide a scripture where Israel as a nation was oppressed and afflicted, and yet they opened not their mouth? That's the question.
Oh, okay. Let me. I like that. Get the sword ready. Isaiah 48. Let's see. I think I got 148. Nah, I can't use that one. Yeah, sure. Give me a minute. I got the scripts now. I take so many notes on this stuff. All right. So he wants to know.
You want to come back to it, or you want to address it now? You want to research that and come back later on? You want to which one of this?
Let's well, first thing first, Jesus ran his mouth the whole time. So I don't know why everybody always goes there, but let's go to Jeremiah 12 verse 3. Let's go to Jeremiah 12 verse 3. All right, Jeremiah 12 verse 3, and it says, "But you, O Lord, know me. You have seen me, and you have tested my heart towards you. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter, and prepare them for the day of the slaughter." Now we know with and let's go to Jeremiah 11 and 9. In Jeremiah 11 and 9, let me see. Might be best if I come back because I can't find it. Oh, it says, "And the Lord said to me, a conspiracy has been found." No, let's come back to it later. Let's come back to that later. Let me get we could stay on that. You know what? Let's stay on that. That's a good one. He said, "Get the sword ready." I'm not going to run from it. Okay. Sal, you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yep, I'm ready. If you want to move on, we can move on, and you can come back to it later, or we can get some more. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Cool.
All right. Well, he said he was oppressed and he was afflicted. He said, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter. And, I precepted it with Jeremiah 12 and 3 and Jeremiah 11 and 19. And as a sheep before her shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. The funny thing is when you go to Mark chapter 2 and 2, it say things like this. They gathered in such large numbers that there was no room left, not outside the door, and he preached the word to them. Now, this is Jesus talking. Now, this is when he stood before Pilate, Matthew 27 and 11. Now, Jesus stood before Pilate the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said to him, "It is as you say." So we see Jesus running his mouth, and he was captured right here. Let's continue on. Matthew 5 and chapter 5 verse 37, it says all you need to simply say is yes or no. Anything beyond this becomes the evil one. So anything over that is evil. So all I ever sit up there and say is we try to find little things to say. See, did Israel do that? I'm pretty sure when you're being thrown into captivity, you can't open your mouth. Everybody know that. Shut up, prisoner. But yet they want to say, see, Jesus didn't open his mouth. Yes, he did. So that doesn't really prove anything when you do that. It's not even fair to, go somewhere as small as that and say that. But you see all through the rest of that passage, who's being led like sheep to the slaughter? Israel is. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right, family. Once again, you got the number is 319-527-6239. By the way, you can email me as well. That's debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. Again, that's debatetalk 4, letter U, @gmail.com. And I'll gladly read out your questions or your comments to Chris Harris. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, that's Sal Showtime. Of course, you can send me an inbox, and I'll read your questions. But we do have some more people standing by with questions on the phone lines. Let's go to 716-563. You're live in air.
Yo, peace. What's good? It's your brother Zadok. What's poppin'?
Hey,
What up,
Zadok,
Zadok?
what's going
How
on?
you doing?
The Dojo King. The Dojo King in the building. What's good?
Maintaining, sustaining, and not complaining. I'm listening. I'm like, yo, where Josh at, man? I thought these brothers was gonna be talking back and forth a little bit, but it's all good. What's up with you, Chris?
How you doing, brother Zadok? How you feeling?
Man, maintaining, just trying to stay out of trouble, man. Keep my head in righteousness if I can.
You know what?
Yeah, man.
That's something we both working on. I'm watching brothers get thrown out this basketball game tonight. I'm quite impressed. Washington playing with some heart tonight.
Oh, yeah, the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I wanted to make a point about the last point. I didn't expect to, but it was interesting hearing your explanation of what the brother from Australia asked through the email. Now, as far as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, have you ever seen sheep get sheared? Have you ever seen them get their wool taken off their body?
No, I haven't.
Okay, and I wasn't asking that to be funny. I'm asking honestly because I think that in the context there, it's almost made to seem as if a sheep is totally silent when it gets sheared. But I think that the context of it wasn't necessarily dumb in the context of not being able to make a noise, but it was in the context of a sheep suffers the shearing and doesn't put up a defense. It may make a cry, it may bay, or whatever they call the sheep's noise. It may bay. I believe that's what they call what sheep do. It may make a noise when it gets grabbed or anything, but because of the type of animal it is, it's dumb. It does nothing to defend itself. It's the only animal in the animal kingdom that gets sheared. You're not going to shear a dog. You're not going to shear a... Nope. You understand what I'm saying?
I definitely agree with you.
So in that context, when you point out when you went to Pilate, the conversation that Yeshua supposedly had with Pilate, he did not defend himself. He didn't do anything. He said nothing to try and get out of the situation. Whatever the accusations were against him, it said he didn't speak. And it even says Pilate said, man, don't you have anything to say for yourself? These people want me to kill you. And Yeshua said, ain't no man, don't no man take my life, I lay it down. So in that context, if I'm understanding it correctly, I could be wrong, but I just wanted to share that thought process with you.
Okay, can I say something about that?
The correlation.
Oh, no, can I say something about that? Because I kind of like the way you spiritualize the concepts. That's why, I've been telling Sal I want to get it in with Brother Zadok. You know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoy the way you spiritualize your concepts. You see what I'm saying? And it makes a lot of sense, okay? Because you actually took a lamb, which the people of Israel were called lambs, right? This is how the Most High referred to them. This is how many of them referred to them. Many people referred to them poetically, spiritually, symbolically. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you turn? Do you got your sword in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you turn to Isaiah 48?
Yeah, let me get there right quick. Isaiah 48. I'm going backwards here. Okay, what verse?
Can you read verse 9?
Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 9. For my name's sake will I defer mine anger, and for my praise will I refrain for thee, that I cut thee not off.
Okay, can you read verse 10?
Behold, I have Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
Okay, now we see the concept being used in Isaiah 53, verse 7. It says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Now the Most High said right there, thus saith the Most High. Who's going to open his mouth against the Most High and speak against him during this affliction that they know, the children of Israel and the prophets know, are coming against them because of their iniquity? That's why this is here.
Okay. Okay, cool. I want to ask a question before this is over with. I want to ask you a question right quick, and I want you to be honest. Well, you know, whether it's
sure.
An answer you have, or it's like, well, you know, I don't deal with that kind of stuff. Of course, you're familiar with the tabernacle in the wilderness and things of that nature, right?
I knew you was gonna go there. Come on with it. Come on with it,
Now, and being familiar with the tabernacle, it's interesting because there is discussion, and I only say this because you and I are living in this current generation, but the discussion we're having is many, many, many centuries old.
Okay.
So, to be fair to it, because sometimes, like if I sit here and talk and then you sit here and talk, it's not that whatever we're saying is necessarily new. Someone has made whatever side of the argument either one of us is making now, and there is a lot of data written historically on what different sections of individuals who claim an affinity for, quote-unquote, the Word of God have had to say about the meanings and the ideas of certain passages, this, that, and the third. To be fair, so this isn't done in a vacuum, like your and my opinion is the only thing on this. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when we look at the pattern of the tabernacle in the wilderness, there is much writing that I've studied on what Christians believe this stuff to be representing, but I've also read the ideas that have come from those who don't deal with Jesus or quote-unquote Christianity or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Now, the tabernacle in the wilderness, there is an explanation, and I don't know if you read or have read the writings of Josephus on the antiquities of the Jews, and he's spilling an entire history of the people, is that and the third. But he gives a description of what the priest class in Israel understood the colors of the tabernacle to symbolize, what they understood the priest's curious garments to represent, and what the different ornaments of the tabernacle represented. So so for instance, the candlestick, the incense altar, things of that nature. Okay, that was literally a candlestick, but it wasn't just a candlestick for being a candlestick's sake. It actually represented something as far as the Hebrews understood. Now, if it did represent something, whatever it represented, can you find what it represented in the Torah, if you have ever dealt with any of that stuff before?
You know what? That would be a great subject for me and you to get on air and cross swords with. I remember I spoke with you a couple of weeks ago, and you stated to me, you said anybody can get it. Yeah, you remember that?
Oh yeah, like
and I'm willing to let's get it. Let's talk about this, and maybe me and Sal can set this up. Me, you, and Sal.
Okay. That's now that's cool, and that's fair.
Yes,
the only reason why I asked it is because I do believe that this topic that you and Josh will be dealing with tomorrow, the Psalm 110, are you familiar that Jesus aside, if Christians or Nazarenes want to claim that they believe Jesus somehow fulfills and is the individual that this psalm verse was really pointing at, that's interesting. That's their right to make that claim. But but for those who have rejected Jesus, historically, I mean, from the time Jesus showed up until all the arguments that went down between Israelites who believed in Christ, Gentiles who were being brought into an understanding of who this Jesus was supposed to be, and the rabbis and the Hebrews of that time who vehemently went against that ideal and had opinions and had interpretations of what these things in Torah really mean. like you're purporting today, are you familiar that even they understood Psalm 110 to be pointing toward the Messiah, the King that would be revealed in the future for the nation of Israel? Are you familiar with that? Even though they reject Christ, they did still believe it to be pointing toward a Messiah-type figure and not King David.
Okay, you want me to answer that now? First things first, you're going to have to give me the literature concerning that. I do have the works of Josephus. Cool. Me personally, Josephus was a sellout. Josephus lived with the enemy, and our very Torah teaches us not to take on any of the ways of the oppressor. Not to mention his name was Flavius Josephus, which, by the way, was a name given to him. Hold on, give me a chance. Let me explain to you. All right. So many of our explanations about Psalms 110, I do understand because I've read some of his works, not all of it. Like I said, I'm willing to get on air and cross swords with you about that, and we could do some verbal sparring and throw some katas at each other and really sink down on this. But many people try to say Psalms 110 is about a future Messiah. Okay, maybe there's some truth to it, right? But that is after the lore of Jesus left the earth. But during the time this was written, this was about one person. And when I bring that out tomorrow in my debate, you're going to see who it was about. Because first of all, it did not say in that song, it shall come to pass. The tenses used in Psalms 110 was something that already happened. One person was a priest under the order of Melchizedek. But
it wasn't David.
Verbal sparring on the tabernacle. Sure, it wasn't David. Sure, it wasn't. Tune in tomorrow and find out.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it, but I definitely will say this. For those who know, for those of you who can hear Brother Zadok right now, for those of you who know that this isn't David and some of the Tanakh-only Israelites who this brother may not be familiar with, and it might be an interesting discussion between him and them, because there are many different variations between those who deny Yeshua but yet, claim to understand Scripture. I've heard Israelites on this very show, not on this particular one tonight, but on this very Debate Talk for You platform, I've heard Torah-only Israelites claim that this wasn't even David who wrote this psalm, that it was Asaph, and that Asaph was explaining what the Most High had said unto David, because it would have been David writing about himself. David would have called him own self Lord. So it's interesting that on this very platform over the last couple of years, in defending this same text, those who have been Torah only probably longer than you, because they may be brothers older and they may have been, got over Jesus many decades ago. I've heard some of them claim on this show that this psalm was written by Asaph about David, and that it wasn't even written by the hand of David himself. So I'm just letting you know, even in the Torah.
Well, the first thing is we got to understand. The first thing we have to understand about Psalms 110, nobody knows who wrote it. I'm not here to discuss who wrote Psalms 110, because that is a very ambiguous stance when you try and say who wrote Psalms 110. I'm going to show you the accomplishments within the text of Psalms 110 and who completed that.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I mean, hey, you know what? That's fine. And you made a claim against Hebrews as far as no one even know who wrote it, and you went to chapter 10 with the one brother earlier. Yeah, we could get into that, because I don't think he explained what that meant, but I think you said you and Josh had a discussion about the body and what he brought up about the Septuagint. Now, the thing is this. If it can be proven that in the early, now, there were no Greeks and Romans responsible for the Greek writing of the scriptures that had been regular writing, had been regular reading for Greek-speaking Israelites for a good century or two before Yeshua existed as a man on the earth. So the problem is going to be The problem is going to be to show that this was not what we read in that psalm and that Septuagint about sacrificing offerings thou wouldest not, that somehow Greeks and Romans did it after the fact to try and make it look like Jesus, rather than showing that that text existed already in the form it did. In the form
now,
that
when you
was
say in the form it did, in the form that it did it exist that way in the Hebrew text?
Did it exist that way in the Hebrew text?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure of that.
Okay.
Because the oldest
have you read
Hebrew
the Maccabees?
text,
have you read the story of the Maccabees?
Who? Have I read the Maccabees?
Have you read the story about the
I've read
Maccabees?
the Maccabees.
Okay, what did Judas Maccabees say about them nasty Greeks? What did he say specifically? Because I know you know your history real good. What did he say about them?
Well, you talk about the writer of Maccabees, talking about how they wanted their pictures inside the writings of the scrolls and all of that stuff?
No, we're talking about when Judas Maccabees
talking about when he said
those
abominations
who want to
that
follow
spread
the
in the
law,
earth.
follow me. He said, those that want to follow the Greeks, when he said, I'm going to kill all y'all. That's what I loved about him, right? He said that, right? This is what your ancestors said.
Oh, you talking about his father Matthias. Yeah, right.
Correct. All right? Now, we saw what he said. What else did his father say that was very specific? He said, don't follow nothing them Greeks do and make no covenant with them. Make no agreement with them. And we know for a fact that any Greek-speaking Jew was called what, Zadok? A Hellenized Jew. So you got a Hellenized form of the Scripture right there.
Now, that was a good one. That was a good one, but Hellene just means that you speak Greek. But this is the thing. In the times of, in the first century, Greek-speaking Hebrews outnumbered Hebrew-speaking Hebrews just like English-speaking Hebrews outnumber them today. So you can't fault people for the language that they was born in, bruh, because the Most High put them in captivity. You had Israelites who never even spoke the tongue, just like you and I. If you believe you a Hebrew and I believe I'm one, you weren't born in a Hebrew tongue, so how could that be held against you?
Because they took a form and set up there and put some psychology in there, because in the Hebraic form, in Psalms 46, it doesn't even say body. But in the Septuagint, which is a Greek book, okay, and really it's not a good book to try and support your case on Christ being the Messiah, but that's another story. It say body.
Right. Okay, I got you. So basically what you've done is you've thrown away historically over 2 millennium any and every Hebrew Israelite who may have spoke Greek, read Greek, and been fluent in Greek and never knew Hebrew. And basically, because they didn't speak Hebrew, you believe that they have a messed up, Hellenized version of the Old Testament scriptures. I mean, okay, I understand your line of thinking on that.
You putting that in my mouth. I'm saying
that's what you just said.
The law of the Most High says, do not take nor add to the word. Does it not?
Yeah, it says that.
Okay.
To the law. To the law. Don't take or add. Okay. Don't add to the law or diminish from it. You're talking about the books
so
I'm
asking.
The Torah.
Right. So here's the funny thing that you bringing that. So the Psalms is not the law. That's not part of the law.
No, that's not the law.
Ain't that what Jesus said to the Pharisees? Doesn't it say in your law that ye are gods? And he was quoting Psalms 82 and 6.
Yeah, but that's not the law. What you're referring to as far as you shall not take from the law. You shall.
Listen what I'm saying.
Bro. Listen, hold on.
One at a time, bro. One at a time.
Hold on. When you ask me what you quoted, when you say you shall not add to this or take away from this, what scripture in particular were you quoting?
That's Deuteronomy. I think that's Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 4.
Okay, so any of the words that Moses were given to the nation of Israel, you weren't supposed to add to it nor take away from it.
Right.
I agree with that. So when I said that Psalms wasn't the law, I'm understanding that you're quoting from the writings of Moses. And the writing of Psalms, the writers of Psalms, are not the writings of Moses. So that's what I meant.
Okay.
So yeah.
But
with that being said, this is
that
interesting. I can't wait to hear you and Josh tomorrow night. This is going to be very interesting because you said no one knows really who the writer of Psalms 110 is, but I guarantee you there are some who believe they do know who wrote it. It's just going to be interesting to hear the callers and you and Josh go back and forth on this. This is going to be great.
Sure.
I'm really looking forward to it because I've never heard you get it in before. So this is going to be my first time checking you out.
Okay.
So, yeah, man, hey, I appreciate your time, man. And, yeah, God willing, I'm going to get to tune in tomorrow. And, Sal, you did call me this past week, and we weren't able to make it happen. So who knows? Maybe this weekend we'll be able to have that conversation and see, what we could get on the schedule sometime down the line.
Shalom, brother.
Yeah, and before you go, Zadok, we do promotions, man. Let people know about that music, man. I know you got a new video out there. Let people know, let them know about that.
oh, goodness. No, hey, well, you know what? Hey, I appreciate it, Sal. That just means you like something you're hearing. You don't want me to promote no whack trash on your platform. Then people be like, yeah, and Sal had the nerve to tell them to let us know where to find it. So with that being said, right now I have a new video that Most High willing will be dropping tomorrow evening. It'll be dropping around the time that the debate starts, around 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. It's a song off of an album I have that's called Freedom. And, it's just, man, about freedom and righteousness, man, getting away from sin, being free from sin, and walking in the freedom of righteousness. So you can find that album anywhere where you can purchase music. It's called Freedom. Just type in my name, Zadok the God, Hop MC. And if you like what you see, go ahead and check it out. Yeah, I appreciate that, though. And if you like any more music, you can go to my website, rebelagainsttheworld.com. That's rebelagainsttheworld.com. And, man, check out some good music, some good God-edifying music, too.
All right, man. We appreciate you calling in, my brother. We only have like a few minutes left in the show, and I said it wasn't going to be long, but it's already getting a little long. I'm going to have to cut this kind of short. We're going to take another caller, though. Let's take one more, maybe two more callers. Let's take two more. Well, right now it's got one person press number one at this time. Anybody else want to press number one? And then you'll be the last one that we'll take your call, basically. So let's get this first one here. Let's go to 973-980. You're live in.
Yeah, shalom. Just two quick questions. Now that I'm understanding that we are kind of pressed for time. Pardon me. My name is Benel, so I just wanted to ask the brother two quick questions. First thing, he was speaking concerning the Masoretic text in the Septuagint, and I think he was claiming, I could be wrong, he can correct me. I think he was claiming that the Masoretic in some way was more superior than the Septuagint. Was that what you were stating, my brother? I could be wrong. You could correct me.
Okay, what I'm trying to sit up there and say, in the original text, which was the Hebraic text, the word body was not there. All right, it was the scroll of the law.
Which Hebrew text are you talking about? Which Hebrew text are you talking about? The Masoretic?
Here's what I want to say. I'm not sure whether, I don't get into all the Masoretic, the flip-flop in text and words and all that. But I do know the word body was not there. Okay, right, well, David didn't shoot out some prophecy. Hold on. Let me get this. Because I think you called in a couple of weeks ago with the same question. Is this your first time calling?
I'm sorry. This is my first time calling.
Okay. Shalom, then, brother. Shalom.
All right. Sure.
What I'm trying to sit up there and say, in the original text, in the Hebrew, whatever version of Hebrew was written. Which text are you
referring to?
I don't know. I don't know how to speak Hebrew. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm sitting up there saying, I know that Greek came along a lot later than what the original book of Psalms was written in.
Let me just say this, for someone that has studied it for years. All right.
Okay.
When Bartholomew had the Hebrews translate the Hebrew Bible into Greek, he destroyed the original Hebrew text that they had at that time. So the only texts that were available at that time was the Septuagint. It wasn't until after the death of Christ and the apostle, late in after the apostles' time, that the Septuagint was written and put together. Late after the time, and I would like for you to do some research on that and then later comment. Tomorrow I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to listen, but the Greek Septuagint was written by Hebrew Israelites. And when it was written, it was overseen by a council that was at Jerusalem. Later, in AD 70, when the temple was destroyed and the priestess was kicked out, later a group of converts put together what was known as the Septuagint. So put together the Masoretic text. So that Masoretic text that a lot of people claim to be Hebrew and was written is not. And there's so much information on this out. The Greek Septuagint is far superior than the Masoretic text, and these are the two major ones that we have that are used and circulated today. There are others that people said, okay, we found this later and this came up later or such and such. But everything that we have, when you speak about the text six receptors, everything that we have today comes from the Septuagint. Okay, the Masoretics, and there was two other Hebrew books that are circulated today that came from the Greek Septuagint. And just because it's Greek, we don't want to hide behind the language. I think the brother that was on before me did a beautiful job in explaining. Just because it's Greek, it was written by Hebrews that spoke both Hebrew and Greek. Just like today you have Hebrews that just speak English. So we don't want to hide behind, it's Greek, so then it's no. Hebrews in those days spoke more than one different language, and they spoke the Hebrew very well, and they spoke the Greek very well. And since the majority of people at that time, Hebrews at that time, spoke Greek, they seen it necessary to put a version of the Torah and the Old Testament into Greek, which is today the foundation and the base of everything that we use that call Scripture. I just want to ask one more scripture and one more question, and then I want to leave because I know we're pressed for time. But in Isaiah 53, verses 9, all right, Isaiah 53, verses 9, it says, "And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in death, because he had done no violence, neither was there any deceit in his mouth." Now, I would like you to just point out for me, whenever there was a time that the nation of Israel never did any violence and never had any deceit in their mouth. I would just like you to point that time out for me, and then I'll, hear my time.
Okay. Well, I can't necessarily say that there was never any deceit in their mouth. But when Daniel, during the Babylonian captivity, Daniel also went into captivity. The good and the bad went into captivity, as prophesied in the prophets. So there were many people who did great things, but they too went into captivity. The problem is we keep trying to say that, that's Jesus or this so-called Messiah. Well, how about this? Jesus said that John was Elijah. The Pharisees went and asked John, and he said he wasn't Elijah. So is that deceitful, or is that a false prophecy?
Or
I'll
is
also
it a
ask you
misunderstanding?
this. Right. Or it wasn't Elijah. Now let's just stay on topic. He said, "Many that stand here," that's in the physical, "shall see me sit on the throne." He said that y'all won't die until y'all see me sit on the throne. That didn't happen. Is that
I think he said, "Many that stand in here would not see death until they see me return in my power." And that was fulfilled. Many people saw him return. If you read in 1 Corinthians, I think, 14, it says over 500 people saw him that was alive during his time and still alive.
But can you answer the Elijah?
Well, hold on.
Can you answer about the Elijah?
The Elijah, Jesus said, if you can understand it. John the Baptist was not Elijah, but if you read Luke 1:17, it says he came in the spirit and power of Elijah. So he was not
but then
Elijah.
If he came in the spirit and the power of Elijah, how come John denied that?
Hold on. John said he is not Elijah, but he came in the spirit and power of. And this is what Jesus said. He said, if you can receive it, he was Elijah. And that's a totally different topic that I can
say something? No. Can I say something pertaining to that now?
But hold on. Before you say that,
okay.
You're pressed for time, I just want to be clear with what you said concerning the answer of Isaiah 53:9. You're saying, to your knowledge, you know for a fact that there was never a time that the nation and people of Israel didn't do violence or didn't have deceit, meaning they always did violence and always had deceit in their mouth. That's what you said, right?
Can I read it to you?
I just want you to answer that. It's because we're pressed.
I'm going to answer that for you.
All right, answer it the way you see fit.
Thank you. Let's go to Zephaniah 3:13. It says, those who are left in Israel, they shall do no injustice and speak no lies, nor shall there be found in their mouth a deceitful tongue. For they shall graze and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. All right, and we know that's a future prophecy. You go to John 3:13.
Hold on. Hold on. Before you go further, that's a future prophecy.
Right, but you still haven't addressed your Messiah who said he was John.
Hold on.
See, you tap dancing, man.
No.
You tap dancing, bro.
You're tap dancing.
You are. I just answered your question.
Hold on.
Don't
waste time.
Malachi said in chapter 4. I'm not. Malachi in chapter 4.
Hold on,
I answered your question.
One at a time.
Please, one at a time. I do not want to utilize time. You was on here all night. Just let me get a few minutes and
it's
then
my show tonight.
I understand that. That's why I'm just asking.
Sweet.
Matter of fact, I'm asking for a few minutes. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Because you clearly stated Isaiah 53:9, okay, that Israel, this can't be speaking about the nation of Israel because they always had deceit in their mouth. Now you're pointing to a future time in the kingdom after we have been redeemed when we will no longer speak, have deceit in our mouth. I agree with that. But this is speaking concerning the nation of Israel, their past, and why they needed someone to come for them to be redeemed, because they had deceit in their mouth and their cities was filled with violence. This is clear. So now you could say, oh, you're always trying to put Jesus in there. Okay, but on the same hand, you can't put Israel in here because you yourself admitted that they always had violence and they always kept deceit in their mouth.
Now, can I answer that now?
Oh, you
As
can go ahead and
stated
take
before,
I'll
Isaiah 53 is a recap of the captivity of Israel and what happened to Israel. That's what this is. That's why it's saying in verse 9, and they made his grave with the wicked, because he had done no violence, not was any deceit in his mouth. There were many people who were innocent that were killed during these captivities. See, the problem is you're still looking at it from the eyes of Christianity. And it still doesn't prove anything, because I can go to Job chapter 19. Anytime y'all see death in the Torah, y'all point to Jesus. But the Torah is supposed to bring life, bruh, not death. But you guys never go to the messianic prophecies and say, he accomplished this. He didn't accomplish anything. And what coming is this of him? 3, the third coming? He already came back. I guess that was 1.5 though, right? Come on, man.
All right, family. We only got like 4 minutes on the air, so we got to pretty much wrap it up. Again, this is a promotional show for tomorrow. I know you're going to tune in tomorrow, definitely Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Definitely appreciate all the listeners out there, all the people that called in. And again, thanks for the promotion out there on social media. I see people promoting it. Share it on their personal page. Tomorrow's show, we appreciate you. Of course, I want to thank Chris Harris for being on for the entire show. On such short notice, we appreciate the brother as well. Put some last words out there. We can pretty much wrap it up. Okay.
Oh, man, it's the Lions Den, Sal. You know how it get. You know how it get. If you take 10 away from the people, they run to 9. If you take 9 away from the people, they go to 8. You take 8 away from the people, they run to 7. You take 7 away from people, they run to 6. This is their last stance right here. With Psalms 110, tomorrow I'm real excited. Me and Josh get it in tomorrow. Cross swords. I really want to cross swords with Brother Zadok. And I really, like I said, man, I enjoy my time on here. It wouldn't be the Lions Den without some drama, right?
And for those who don't know how to contact you, brother, let them know where to reach you.
The person I gave my number to, give me a call. Anybody else, you can reach me at Chris Harris on Facebook. You can reach me at chrisharris313@gmail.com. I'm going to slow down on giving my number out, or you can call Sal, and Sal will probably get back in touch with me if he has the time. I want to give all praises to the Most High, creator of the universe and possessor of everything within it, my light and my darkness, creator of evil and good. To him, my praise and my head shall bow in that day, and I'll give accountability for everything that I've said and done. To all the people out here that take their time and listen to tonight, man, I say thank you. Shout out to LaRon. Shout out to Davon. Shout out to Robert Reed. Shout out to Sister Sherry. Shout out to who else? Just shout out to everybody, man, who really calls. And shout out to you, Sal, for always allowing me to come on here, man. And that's it.
2017. Big Truth. The big talk for you. What up? Shout out Ahwar King. Big Boo. Me. Shout out everybody. Check it. Hey, yo, debate talk 4. You so you can absorb. Information free of charge so you can afford. Get poppin'. Live off the greatest doctrine. Sip the juice, know the ledge like the great Rakim. On a mission, not a small time thing. Defense biblical, offense got the haters watching. Hands are skill, footwork is ill. Get in the den, see if you can stand for real. If you rep Kim and Cool, yo, I rep Israel. If you Torah based only or new as well, welcome to listen. Style always fair decision. Two sides come together to compare what's written. Seeking the facts, speaking the math, teaching the acts, leaking the tracks. Call while you eating your snacks. Music in my bones, DNA, C, double E, and K. Little something for the showtime.